Okay, let's do this. We are adding fractions here, 3/5 plus 5/8. Now, the way to do this is make the denominators the same. Because if we had something like 3/7 plus 2/7, then we can say that verbally as 3/7 plus 2/7. And so 3 cars plus 2 cars is 5 cars. So 3/7 plus 2/7 is 5/7. Um, how are we going to do that here? Well, we need to look for the lowest common multiple of 5 and 8. Okay, one thing that will always work is that you can multiply them together, basically, but it is worth thinking about the fact that sometimes one might go into the other one. In this case, it actually doesn't. What are we going to do? We're going to write 3/5 and we're going to times the top and bottom by 8. That does not change the fraction. And then we're going to add 5/8 and we're going to times top and bottom of this one by 5. Why do that? Because then it becomes 24/40 plus 25/40, and we've got the denominators the same. Add the two numerators, that gives 49/40. Okay, it's asked for it as a mixed number in its simplest form. So we've got it as an improper fraction at the moment. We're not quite there. We need to just think about this. Well, we've got 40/40, which is 1, and then we've got 9/40 left over. So the answer is 1 and 9/40. Here's a standard form question without a calculator. So to do a subtraction, there are two ways to do this. We're going to do it the long way to start with. So the long way is to write them in normal form first. So it's going to be 5, and then I've got my decimal place. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Fill in the zeros. And then I want to minus 1.6 times 10 to the 3. I'm just going to do that over here. 1.6 times 10 to the 3, so 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to get 1,600. Okay, this is a subtraction. We're going to have to do, potentially we can just look at this and try and figure it out, but let's go through it using borrowing method. Okay, so here I'm going to need to borrow from the 5. Gives me 4. I've got a 10 here, but then I'm going to need to borrow from the 10 to make it 9, and then that becomes 10. So I've got 0, 0, 4, 8, 4. Okay, and that is nearly our answer. It's just that it's been asked to be in standard form, so I then need to think, here's the decimal point, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be 4.84 times 10 to the 4. Okay, the slightly quicker way, well, much quicker way actually, but it's a bit harder to maybe get your head around, is to make the powers the same. So we can't subtract these as they are because the powers are different. But if I was to write it as 50 times 10 to the 3, that's the same number, just times the 5 by 10 and divided by the 10 to the 4 by 10. But the same thing, and then I could minus 1.6 times 10 to the 3. And now that I've done that, I can basically keep the powers the same and just minus the numbers. So or you could see it that I'm factorizing out 50 minus 1.6 times 10 to the 3. You're still going to have to do this subtraction, but that is going to be 48.4 times 10 to the 3. And then it's not quite in standard form, I just need to move the decimal place and change the power up by 1, and I get that. Now this is more advanced, but if, for example, I was asking you to do this, then the first method is going to be really terrible. You don't want to be writing out loads of zeros. So it is worth trying to understand this as well.